the boundary that would not break. Noah Garrett didn't move to the outskirts of Ashwood County for community spirit or wine and cheese socials. He came for the one thing modern life refused to give freely: privacy. Not the performative kind you wrap in digital passwords and terms of service. Real privacy. Uninterrupted, earned, enforced. After decades training military working dogs and consulting on security protocols for government facilities, Noah had seen enough bureaucracy to last him several lifetimes. What he wanted now was silence. Control. An existence that couldn't be interpreted, evaluated, or invaded. His new home, a modest, reinforced structure sitting at the exact center of 5 acres of densely wooded terrain, offered precisely that. It was legally his, paid in full, fortified, and functional. No frills. No decor. No welcome mats or porch lights. He didn't join the neighborhood association, didn't wave at strangers, and hadn't shaken a single hand since escrow closed. His social circle consisted of Co and Juno, 2 Belgian Malinois with better situational awareness than any surveillance system on the market. They didn't bark at shadows. They responded to movement with silent precision. That was enough. Noah's perimeter was no accident. He had mapped it himself, cleared sight lines between natural brush, buried reinforced barriers beneath what looked like ordinary gravel, and avoided any reliance on wireless networks or digital assistance. No Alexa. No smart fridge. Not even a cell tower nearby. He ran solar backups, analog switches, and kept his data on local drives only. If someone wanted to reach him, they had to do it the old-fashioned way, by showing up uninvited. For several months, that philosophy served him well. Occasionally a car would slow near the entrance, unsure whether it had taken a wrong turn, but they always drove off. Once, a drone drifted too close to the northeast tree line and crashed inexplicably before it could reach the clearing. No one never confirmed whether it was interference or timing. He didn't care. The rule was simple: they can't tamper with what they can't touch. Then came the white SUV. It appeared without fanfare, slowing just enough to make note of the driveway but continuing on before stopping 50 feet up the shoulder. The engine remained running. No one stepped out. Windows up, idle steady, no plates visible. 15 minutes passed. Then it drove off, not back toward town, but deeper into the hills where the road narrowed to gravel. It could have been a coincidence, but Noah didn't believe in those. 2 days later, a gray pickup stopped in the same place. Again, no approach. Again, it lingered. Then, both vehicles returned together a day after that, parking, idling, reversing, never setting foot on the property but pressing against its edges like hands testing for weakness. That's when he stopped wondering and started preparing. The day they breached the line came quietly. No announcements. No warning. Just 3 men in identical Navy vests marked community safety oversight. One carried a clipboard. Another held a handheld scanner that looked suspiciously like a LiDAR unit. The third had nothing but nervous eyes. He kept looking over his shoulder, like someone waiting to get caught. Noah didn't shout. He didn't warn them. He simply gave a sharp whistle. Co and Juno emerged from the tool shed like smoke, silent, precise, flanking the men without barking. One cut left, one cut rear. The effect was immediate. The clipboard wobbled. The scanner shook. The third man whispered into his sleeve. Dogs confirmed. Not compliant. Advised next step. Noah remembered those words long after the men had backed away under canine pressure. He hadn't ordered the dogs to attack. He didn't need to. Just their presence was enough. He watched them cross back through the gate, silent and tense, one dropping what looked like an antenna device before sprinting to the vehicle. The next morning, Noah walked into the county sheriff's office, not to rant, but to deliver a physical folder. Photos. Timelines. Coordinates. The deputy skimmed through, offered some empty nod about increased activity lately, and handed the file off with the care of someone setting aside a shopping receipt. Noah didn't push. "If I have to call you next time," he said flatly, "there will be evidence in triplicate." The signs grew louder after that. At the water source near the dog's run, Co and Juno hesitated, sniffed, but didn't drink. That wasn't normal. Noah opened the panel and found thin, precise vertical incisions on the tubing. Not rodents. Not erosion. Tampering. He replaced the section, installed a dye trap, and adjusted the filtration monitoring with a UV response agent. That same week, he found a tracker. Tiny, circular, affixed like a conservation tag to an oak tree inside his line. A QR scan led to a fake environmental monitoring site. Amateur code. Fake domain. The implication? His land was being surveyed as if it were under government jurisdiction. Noah left the tracker in place, rerouting its signal to loop through false data, methane spikes, beaver sightings, mineral inconsistencies. Let them decode nonsense. He wasn't interested in a counterattack. He wanted misdirection. It didn't stop them. A black SUV parked outside his gate 2 days later. This time, 2 men in city contractor windbreakers pointed a thermal scanner at his trees. He filmed from a distance, copied the footage, and hand-delivered it to Ruth, his lawyer and the only person he trusted. "I'm expecting escalation," he wrote in a note. "Be ready." The next morning, an unsigned paper appeared at the edge of his gate, weighted by a rock. Not a letter, just a typed sheet. Perimeter review pending. Failure to comply may result in forced access under Regional Land Inspection Authority. It was legal theater, designed to sound authoritative without being real. Noah shredded it, burned the pieces. Then he upgraded everything. Pressure plates recalibrated. North Trail rigged for early motion triggers. Dog patrols randomized. Food schedules varied. Surveillance expanded. And still, they came. One night, the dog sniffed but wouldn't eat. Co, the most food-driven animal Noah had ever trained, walked away from his bowl. That alone was cause for concern. A UV wand showed a faint chemical sheen on the bowl's surface. Test results confirmed his suspicion: trace diuretics, low-dose compounds not found in local water sources. Someone was trying to dull the dogs. Not to kill, but to condition. It was then he realized this wasn't harassment. It was preparation. When the soil probes appeared near the dog run, cylindrical devices transmitting environmental data every 20 minutes, Noah didn't destroy them. He reprogrammed them to lie, transmitting false readings back to whoever was collecting. When the reflective boundary stakes he'd placed were subtly repositioned, Noah called a licensed surveyor to walk the perimeter with him, documenting GPS coordinates, stake placement, and legal boundaries. That week, garbage collection stopped. He contacted the waste department. They had no record of a stop request. A second call revealed someone had forged one under his name, complete with digital signature. The IP traced to a mobile hotspot 2 counties over. The pace accelerated. A woman in business casual showed up one morning, binder in hand. Calm tone. "You've been earmarked for ecosystem stabilization efforts," she said. "Non-compliance will be documented as part of the obstruction matrix." Noah didn't let her finish. He thanked her for her time and walked away. Next came the unmarked construction crew. Orange spray paint on his drainage line. No permit. No explanation. Just fluorescent arcs and phrases like Zone 3 perimeter pending. Then came the complaint. Photos. Zoomed. Annotated. Showing the shed, the dog run, corners of his home only visible from inside his fence. Filed under the name Community Environmental Response Group, a phantom agency with no registration. The photos were taken at night. His sensors hadn't triggered. They'd found a blind spot. He patched it, updated the camera grid, made the blind spot the trap. When he was served an emergency summons for a hearing filed by a group called Regional Stakeholders Panel, Ruth accompanied him. The hearing was held in a public hall, with folding chairs and clipboards. The panel had no legal standing. Ruth spoke for him. Her voice was calm. Her evidence was devastating: 63 pages of forged markers, tampered infrastructure, synthetic compounds, digital forgeries, and footage cross-referenced with testimony and timestamps. The panel tried to delay. Ruth refused. "You invoked emergency authority," she said. "You don't get to disappear when the truth shows up." The contractors vanished. The checkpoint barriers were gone by dawn. But Noah knew desperate systems don't retreat. They retaliate. 2 nights later, 3 men crossed the east fence line. Silent alarms triggered. Co and Juno responded. One was caught. The others fled. And the man's bag? Forged property surveys. Notes marked camera blind zones. Copies of Ruth's license plate. A draft letter of her legal disqualification. The next morning, Noah sent every shred of documentation to a federal liaison Ruth had retained quietly. He never spoke of it again. 3 weeks later, the state land office dropped all claims. The phony agencies were dissolved. The project was gone. Noah didn't celebrate. He reinforced the eastern gate, patrolled the line, reset the pressure sensors. The land stayed quiet. No more letters. No more SUVs. Just the forest again. 6 months later, a single document arrived, a legal confirmation. The land was placed into a trust, protected from reassignment without extensive litigation. Ruth had finalized it. There would be no next time. And yet, even in victory, Noah didn't forget. He walked the lines, updated the logs, treated vigilance not as a burden but a right. He had never sought recognition, only silence, only space. And now he had both. Not because he shouted, but because he never moved.